Welcome back to Stamping at the Warren, and I firstly want to apologise that I haven't done a video in over a week. Being disabled with a spinal injury, I don't get around on my pins very well, and I ended up having a nasty fall, and I've been out of action for a week or so now. But I'm improving, don't worry. It's just my buttocks are still rather sensitive and very, very bruised, but I'm getting there, so I'm fine to be sitting in the workshop for short periods of time now. Anyway, today I'm going to show you how you can use a single pack of designer series paper to make some really beautiful cards. And we're going to be I'm going to be winging it. I'm going to be making another version of one of the cards here, but I'll show you the products that we're using first, and I'm not actually going to show you which one I'm doing, so you can guess as I show you the products. So what we need, you want the layering ovals framelits dies, you will want the Pop of Paradise stamp set, and then there's 2 ink pads that we're using, possibly, and that is Archival Basic Black, Memento Black would work just as well, and Melon Mambo ink pads. I've also got my Melon Mambo stitched ribbon out here, and I can't remember if that's in the current catalogue or not. If it's not, there is real red in there, and that will work really well, or black, something like that. So the colour scheme, because of the papers, is all black, white, pink, and that's all there is. I don't know why there's some silver there. That's from a card I was doing earlier. Right, so the actual pieces that you need, your card base is just a piece of basic black cardstock, and that measures 30 centimetres by 10.5 centimetres and scored in the middle at 15 centimetres. It's just over an A4 card, but it fits in the envelopes. Then there's a piece of Pop of Paradise designer series paper, and that measures 10.1 by 14.4 centimetres. And then this bit, this little strip here, is actually the reverse side. So all of the papers in the pack are reversible, so you get a contrasting pattern, and I really like that in this set. So we're going to be using the pinker side this time, and that will make sense now why we're just pink, black and white. And then we're going to use this side, which is just 2 centimetres by 14.4 centimetres. We're using that as the contrast. You then need some Whisper White cardstock, some Melon Mambo cardstock, and some basic black cardstock. And that, apart from your adhesives and your Big Shot, I'm using the magnetic platform today. But other than that, that's pretty much it. We're ready to rock and roll. So your first job is just to get this card base folded. Basic black holds up really, really well to cards because it's a denser cardstock. So you find it doesn't fracture quite so easily. So you can use your bone folder, give it a really good burnish, and you get a really nice crisp fold, and it stands beautifully. Some cardstocks, it's to do with the pigments. Some cardstocks aren't as thick and they don't stand up quite as well, but this works beautifully. So first job, bit of Tombow, and just pop some Tombow over the back. It's very sparing the amount of Tombow you use, and then just pop this down straight onto your card base, obviously making sure that you have your little triangles in the right direction. So do take care to do that when you're cutting. Make sure you're cutting your papers so that they are going in the direction that you want. And then we're just going to do this little bit here, and I'm going to put that down on this left hand side nice and evenly. And it just looks like a piece of ribbon really going down the side there. And that is the basic card base done. So next we want to do a bit of stamping, because it wouldn't be me without some stamping. Always has to be in there. So I'm trying something a little bit different with this one compared to what I've done on the others. So you'll need both of your ink pads. I'm going to go with the Melon Mambo first. And you want your flamingo stamp. If you've got it in wood mount, that's grand. I've got it in clear mount. I love clear mount because you can get so much more in the space. Right, so I'm going to ink off some of that ink so that I don't get such an intense colour. I managed to get a bit of ink on there. There you go, so it's a bit of a washed out flamingo. And then bring in your black. Close this one. And then further up on that scrap of cardstock, we're going to stamp the heart, which says, I can never read it properly from this way. I'll have a look in a minute. I think it's I'm thinking of you, something like that. You have to press a bit harder with the archival ink pads because they're a fabric based substance that soaks up the ink, whereas most of Stampin' Up stamps are water based. I'm not happy with that one. I'm going to chomp off that bit there, turn it over. I just haven't got enough ink because I was too busy yakking to you lot. And you can see when the ink is on there because it all shines nicely. And I probably just didn't press hard enough. So we'll just do this here. You do have to give this a few seconds just to dry, but it is, because it's got alcohol in it, it actually dries fairly quickly. And that's all of the stamping. The rest is die cutting and assembly. Bring our card over there and we'll put the ink pads away. Bring my big shot up. There we go. And the first thing that I'm going to do is die cut out the flamingo. So I'm actually going to end up using 2 die packs because I've changed my mind on what I'm going to do, which is part of making homemade cards, isn't it? Get that fairly centred and then pop it through your big shot. So the sandwich I've got is my magnetic platform on the bottom, then an acrylic cutting plate, then the cardstock face up, and then your die face down, and then your second acrylic cutting plate. I'll show you as I go through the other way. Okay, so there's our flamingo, and then we want that scrap of black to be able to cut out a scallop. So here we are, just to show you a big shot. So this is a magnetic platform. You then pop an acrylic cutting plate on top. They do look like this, and that's normal. Just rotate them to ensure that they stay nice and flat. And you pop your piece of cardstock on, and then you're in this situation where you haven't got any wording or image, you would put the cutting plate down. But if you had an art image on, like the stamped image, then you would want the stamped image face up and then the other way around. Hope that makes sense. Right, and then your second cutting plate goes on the top there, and that is your basic sandwich, and that goes back through the big shot. And then we have your scallop circle. So you've got lovely black on pink on black, black on pink. Okay, so the next thing is we've stamped that heart and it's disappeared on me. Where's my stamped heart? There it is, look. Okay, so I just want to change my framelits pack. So now we are going with the, I'm going to put my big shot down a moment. I want to show you these dies. If you haven't seen the Sweet and Sassy dies yet, these are them. And you've got two different types. So you've got these Sassy ones with a real featured shape to them, and they're great for making bodices for dresses on cards and that sort of thing, or upside down as a bustier, and so they're really great. So there's a whole set of those, and then you've got a whole set of a standard shaped heart, and they're all like nesties, so they all are graduated. And I'm just separating them all out because I just need to make sure I've got the right two for what I'm doing. And the easiest way to know what you're doing is have your stamped image down there and have the cutting blade so it's looking up at you. I hope you can see that. And then if you put that up against your art image, your stamped image, you can see if that fits. And then all you need to do is then, so you can check, and then all you do is you select the next size up. So one is slightly larger than the other. So we want, excuse me, yeah, this one first. So this one we're going to cut out, and then the second one we're going to cut out using pink. There you are. So let's pop these dies away, otherwise, you know, if you watch my videos you know I get paranoid about dies, and I think I've managed to, oh no, got them, yeah, I've managed to muddle them all up then. Right, so straight away with your dies, because it is so easy to lose them. You can keep them on magnetic sheets in cassette holders. I find I've got mine in and out so frequently that I get more frustrated with it than anything. Right, so big shot is back up. Just line up your image with your die. Same sandwich as before. Straight through your big shot. And then we want another from the next size up using Melon Mambo, so we're keeping completely coordinated here. And for me, that is Stampin' Up's biggest strength. Absolutely is. It just makes it so easy to create cards quickly, because most of the hard work has been done for you. Right, this is how I layer up my my art pieces. I do like dimension on my cards. So turn each of these over. You can see, you don't see, this was my rubbish one, and you turn it over and it's fine. So just 3 on the back of each of these. That's all that's needed. And if you run out like me, don't waste all of these pieces, use them. So just get your paper snips and you just peel them off. And I've put one over the top of the other now, look. That was a stupid thing to do, wasn't it? There we go. Right, and then if you take off the protective cover of the smaller pieces, and I've probably done it wrong. Yeah, I have laughs. Open that one up. Right, and then you just pop one on top of the other. You get this beautiful halo effect. And you do the same with this one. Pop your flamingo on. And the reason I inked off first, I wanted a kind of watercolour candy effect with this one. I just like to play around, really. Right, so then you can bring your art pieces over and decide where everything is going to go. And you could even say, do you know what, I'm going to have it that way. And I think I am. I think I'm actually going to put it this way. Yeah. I'm going to pop my thinking of you down here. And my flamingo up here. And then in the middle here, we're going to put some ribbon. But before I do that, I want to put some loops of silver thread. This is so fine, and it's just to die for. So I just get the end, grab a glue dot, and just secure those bits on that glue dot. And then we can pop those loops slap bang in the middle there, because the ribbon is going to go over the top. I'll leave my glue dots there because we shall need them. Right, bow making. This is how I make them. Bunny ears, but the tails must go away from you. Alright, just that, if hopefully that makes sense. So you've got your ribbon running here. There's my finger, you've got that going behind your finger. You then run your hands down and flip it. So you have two pieces with bunny ears like this, roughly the same size. You can then cross them over, bunny ears them, and from there, so long as you don't do the knot too tight, from there you can start pulling, and then when you feel you've got roughly what size you are after, you pull. But then you might go, oh no, that's still a bit too small, too big, and you just pull again, holding the knot just to stop anything from going through too much. There you go. If you look from that side, you've got a nice knot. And then just look at that. That was useless, wasn't it? One there. One there. And there is a bow. Now I can play with that again if I need to. So you just keep repeating, and then you can trim the ends to the size you really want them to be. An angle. I think I need to degunk my scissors. Right, so this is going to go in the centre here at a bit of an angle so it overlaps the two. So I'm just going to pop another glue dot on there. Down that goes, and there's your card. So this one is completely different to the others. If you wanted to, you could, actually we could do that, couldn't we? Let's have a look. Oh no, I've put it away now. No, let's go for it. Right, scrap of white got here, and we'll go with this little banner here because I think that would work really well there. Take Mr. Flamingo off. Basic black again. And it really, this black against that Melon Mambo really sings. It really does lift. Right, I think I need that side. Fingers crossed, there we go. Right. Very quickly with your paper snips. And just be mindful that you do want that ink to dry fully before you start. When you are freehand cutting, you should be rotating the cardstock, not the scissors. And there should always be 1 to 2 millimeters of white, or whatever colour you're using, but basically a non-fussy contrast that's created that helps the image to stand out. Otherwise it just disappears in amongst everything else, which is why you usually use an average of 3 or 5 colours, so that you have contrasting and complementing colours. And with this particular card, or card set I should say, they are both very intense colours, and so it works because they are a similar intensity. If you put Blushing Bride into this with these colours, it would probably just go, oh no, help. Right, so that's cut out. I hope you saw me cutting it. I realised I wasn't up here, sorry. Right, so I just need my Stampin' Dimensionals there. And this is where you can really use up these edges. So just snip and just guesstimate how long you need that to be, and you can mould the shape of these, so you can mould it around that banner. So I just need a little bit more. I'll just cut another little bit off. Again, that just fits in there nicely. Yeah. So take the backing off. Turn it over, bring in that card, and we can just, there you go, ta-da! And if you use the baby words, I think the new arrival words, I think that would look really quite sweet as a new baby card. Anyway, I'm going to whiz through the other cards that I made. So these have all been made using a combination of just 3 of the papers in the Pop of Pink Designer Series paper stack. So, and you'll see that I've used the contrast, so this is the flip side of the other or one of the others. So on this one, very simple. Lots of pink because it's a new baby card, and it's got some silver thread in the background there. Very simple thank you card here. I've just trimmed a piece of contrast paper to, I think it was 6.5 centimetres wide, and just created banner ends and adhered that straight down, and then did one of those banners we've just done. This one I combined the flamingo with the I think it's thinking of you. Yeah, I am thinking of you. Beautiful heart one here. In this one I have used the layering circles framelits and made a very simple clean cut card here. And the same with this one, using the Sweet and Sassy framelits dies in this one. So you can just chop and change them around. Die cutting really helps cards to be produced very quickly. And this one again is very similar to the one there, but you've got the contrast to this one. So this is black with some pink, and this is the sort of opposite way around. So there you are. That's 7 cards made from not even 3 pieces of Designer Series paper. It probably only equals 1.5 sheets of Designer Series paper, and you got 7 cards. That's it for today. I hope you enjoy it. I shall get this uploading straight away so you don't have to wait too long, and I will speak to you again as soon as I can. It may be a bit hit and miss. I really did injure myself quite badly, so I am hobbling and struggling at the moment, but I will be in my workshop and filming as much as I can, I promise. If you want to leave any comments, please leave them in the comment section below today's video. And in the show more section is all my social media information, so you can follow me in whichever social media format you prefer. Don't forget about my Pinterest community board, where, so long as I know that you have an interest in Papercraft, I will check you out and then send you an invite. And it's up to you then whether you decide to take up that invite, and then you can start pinning your own designs or designs from Pinterest and outside of Pinterest, whatever you want, so long as it's Papercraft. No digital images, please, and no non-Papercraft, but that is the only proviso I give you, and obviously it shouldn't be obscene. And what was the other thing I was going to say? I was going to tell you something else. Oh, I know. To find the blog post, there's always a blog post goes alongside my videos. So to find that, either click on the link that's underneath the video when you look up your videos on YouTube. Click on the link underneath and that will take you straight to the blog and the actual blog post. The other way is if you're watching the video, if you click on the eye icon in the top right corner, that will bring up like a little mini card view. If you click on there, again, that will take you straight to the tutorial for today's blog post. Thanks for watching and thanks for bearing with me. Ta-ta for now.